I've been waiting for this conversation. Tranzfar, they're a UK-based financial technology company with operations across 100 countries around the world. They provided further updates on their international funds transfer service, which was floated last October. Officials of the company were in Accra, Ghana last week, and they're here in Nigeria. Joining me now on the show, Dr. Olusiji Sanya. He's the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and co-founder of the FinTech organization. Thank you very much for joining us. We already talked for an hour before we even started the segment. IMTOs, everything's so fascinating. Let's talk innovation. What's happening in the space? You touch your forehead and money comes to you. What's the innovations in the IMTO space?
I think in the fintech space in general, I think the key things that are interesting, obviously, seamlessness, reducing friction, security of platforms. There have been things in the headlines about security issues on some platforms. So security is very important. Of course, service level and coverage. So those type of things. But I think the seamlessness and the friction is key. Reducing friction, increasing seamlessness is very key. And more importantly, partnerships. Plugging into each other so that the customer can have a sort of a full experience.
So for folks who are wondering about regulation and how well you're regulated, explain the partnership part. How's that work? Who are you partnering with? How's that work?
So we partner with a lot of companies in the 100 countries that we operate in. Of course, we're directly regulated in about 33 of those countries, and then we partner with other countries. So in Nigeria, for example, we have partnerships, and with those partnerships, operations are covered, making sure that, of course, everything we do is sort of safe and compliant.
So how do you make it easy? How does Tranzfar make it easy for my aunt in New Jersey? Auntie Joyce, I love you. How does it make it easy for my Auntie Joyce in New Jersey to send me some money, some dollars, which I need?
So, it's basically straightforward. We basically operate on digital platforms only. So we have a website, we have an Android app, and an iOS app. So Auntie Joyce, as you mentioned, basically download our app, register, go through our sort of KYC checks. Once she's good, she's on, and then she can basically set you up as a recipient and then send money to you at this sort of ongoing rate.
Now, this space is getting pretty crowded. There's a lot of players. How does one differentiate? How do I say, Tranzfar versus others? What is it, fees, or how do you differentiate yourself from the others as far as competition is concerned?
I think the key for us is we're very focused on the user and what they need. And for us, we innovate through sort of user feedback. It's what the users want. So when the users say, look, we want to be going in this direction, then it's our job to move very quickly to give them what they want. So for example, we noticed a lot of users were concerned about sort of the health of family members back home. So we partnered with AXA Mansard so that users from the comfort of their homes abroad can basically buy health insurance products for their wards back home. So it's those type of things that we do. And those things, those sort of little extra value adds make the platforms more impactful to users.
Fund protection, confidence that depositors need to have. Can you tell me some more about that?
So that has to do with our Freedom Bank account, which is a digital banking product we launched in February. And of course, as I said, we just left Accra to launch the same product. And the key thing about that is this product it's a UK-based bank account. Of course, we're promoting it all over the world. After Nigeria, we're going to 12 other countries to promote it. But the key thing is because it's a real UK bank account, not a virtual account. So obviously with virtual accounts, you don't have that kind of protection. With a real bank account, each bank account or each user is protected in the UK under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme up to £80,000 of their deposits. And that's why it's different from a lot of others.
Gotcha. Protection. Hey, listen, I have to ask you about some pressing issues here in Nigeria regarding BDCs and the central bank. Acting Central Bank Governor, Mr. Shonubi, is saying that IMTOs, international money transfer operators, are diverting money into the parallel market, and it's not easily tracked. The BDCs have not come out and said they agree. What's your take on this? Because it doesn't really make much sense to me. If wherever money is diverted to, that's supply that's going in. So I'm not sure how that causes the naira to get weak. Where do you stand on this matter?
So, Richard, you're right that, of course, any of these transactions, either way, effectively supply the market. But I think I'm looking at the central bank's angle here. So, in one sense, the policy direction is quite positive, especially, some of the directives and reversals they're done since sort of May 29. So that's a good thing. But I think the devil is in the detail of the mechanisms with which you execute. I think ultimately what's important, beyond the sort of narrative and rhetoric that some group of operators are blaming another group of operators, I think that's besides the point. The key thing that the regulator needs to look at is the mechanisms, creating an incentive structure that would basically make every operator, whether it's a fintech, an IMTO, BDC, basically want to work directly with the regulator. It's really about the fact that, you know, the central bank is saying, look, on paper we have $25 billion of remittances coming into the country, but we can't, where is it?
Right.
And so it's really about making sure that the central bank wants to make sure that those remittances are funneling through them, which is not a bad intention at the end of the day, right? But the key thing is the policies, the incentive structures, and the mechanisms. As I said, the policy direction is right. So I'm in total alignment with what the central bank wants to achieve. But the key thing is in detail. So I'll give an example. In some other West African country, for example, Ghana, the central bank over there, the Bank of Ghana, basically has trading platforms and integrations where IMTOs plug directly into the Bank of Ghana, trade directly with the Bank of Ghana. And we're told, for example, that IMTOs won't find better rates anywhere than the Bank of Ghana. So there are incentive structures and things that can be done. So it's one thing, obviously, there's policy, there's law, but there's also creating an environment where rational economic agents will basically say, no, it's the CBN we want to give a dollar to. So for me, it's a combined approach. So I think, you know, the blame game is not really relevant, bottom line, for the country and where we are and where we're going. But I think the regulator must, you know, borrow a leaf from some other places. But as I said, the policy direction is decent, is good. It's the way we go about implementing it that must be looked at again. All
right. Thanks for giving me your take. I think you're the first IMTO to speak to this matter. So maybe everybody's going to copy what you just said. As far as your coverage over several countries and jurisdictions, how's that going to? Are you looking at expanding? 100 countries is already a lot for you guys. So how's that going to work out?
So it's a lot, but of course we're trying to push more of our products. So the digital bank, for example, we want that. I mean, the way it's set up, people from over 90 countries, you know, technically have access from wherever they are to onboard onto the product. So obviously we want to make noise about it, push it, and of course bring the value that it should bring to the user, but also bring the value it should bring to the economy where the user is based. That's the key thing. As we said in Accra, the idea is not just to deliver this product to the user, but by design, the economy where the user is based is supposed to benefit. There's some value left on the table in each of those economies, including Nigeria.
Yeah. It's like when I think of these Afrobeat superstars from Nigeria who are overseas making all this money, you got to get some of that back home.
Exactly. So this platform actually allows that to happen, where they can collect some of these foreign incomes, freelancers, developers who work, people who can basically better export services from Nigeria, knowing that they have a platform that can help them collect. I think the other important side of this is the partnerships and enterprise side. When we launched this product last October, it was more individual and retail focused. Today, there's a whole enterprise dimension where we want to help small and medium-scale businesses, fintechs, banks, telcos. They can plug into our platform and basically deliver the value to their own millions of users directly. And that's that's actually one of the reasons why we're in Lagos. Strike up those partnerships and help those players to serve their users better in a seamless, but of course, safe and compliant way.
Hey, great conversation. Wish we could extend this even longer because there's so much technology, the money transfers, digital banks. My thanks to you, Dr. Olusiji Sanya, CFO, co-founder at Tranzfar. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ritus.